There is something about seeing the apartheid up close. I've read many books, I've spoken to many people, especially over the last 2 years, but being here does something different.
Hello and welcome to Celebrities4Palestine Podcast. I'm your host, Sari Harb, talking to you from Ramallah in occupied Palestine. Over the past 2 years of Israel's genocide in Gaza, celebrity solidarity with Palestine became a powerful tool in amplifying the Palestinian struggle. Especially in times where mainstream media fell short, many celebrities have used their massive platforms. Through this podcast, we aim to dig deeper into their stories and explore the personal, cultural, and political connections behind their solidarity. Our first guest in this podcast series is very special. She's been almost to every protest in solidarity with Palestine in London. Also, she's been vocal on her social media platform, calling it as it is, a genocide, from the beginning. What makes this podcast even more special is that she's been in Palestine in September, and we were able to record this with her. We welcome Irish actress Denise Gough.
A very special recording because our guest is actually here in Palestine. We have with us today Denise Gough. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
Well done.
Welcome
first
to
person.
Palestine.
Thank you very much.
We're very happy that you came, especially in this very tense time. What brought you here?
Well, I've never doubted what Palestinian people not just tell me, but tell the world is happening. So I didn't come here to have it proven to me. I came here so that now that I'm somebody who has a public profile, and if I'm being encouraged to speak, to advocate, I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. And also there is something about seeing the apartheid up close. I've read many books, I've spoken to many people, especially over the last 2 years, but being here does something different.
And this is your first visit?
It's my first visit to Palestine, yes.
And how is it so far?
Well, everyone...
Tell us all the details.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite... because this is our last night here, so we're about to go home. I'm going to find it very difficult to leave.
It's still the beginning of the interview, so let's... I think it's...
I feel like...
very emotional.
It's hugely emotional, and everyone is laughing at me. The man who leads our delegation is laughing at me a lot because I'm crying a lot, but it's an intense thing to experience.
And you said it's your last day, so where have you been so far?
We've been everywhere. We have been in Ramallah, we've been in Jerusalem, in Hebron, Masafariata, Jaffa, all over. We've seen the entirety of obviously we can't go to Gaza, inshallah one day, but not now. So we have been taken to as many places as possible to see all of the cross-section of Palestinian life, which is overwhelming. And it's something I will be forever grateful for, to be able to be in people's homes, the people that I've met here. It's impossible really to describe while I'm still here how I'm feeling about it, because I'm going to have to go home and process. So, but we've met. So
since it's your first
people.
visit, I'm sure like you've been reading like ethnic cleansing, apartheid, occupation, colonization. Where exactly did you see that in Palestine?
Everywhere.
And like
in different forms. So the thing that I'm learning so much about is fragmentation. So the fragmentation of the country into two separate places where people can't travel freely between the two. And then the fragmentation within communities, within families, the fragmentation within the self. I have seen it to different degrees in different areas. I think specifically a very difficult place to be was Hebron. I found that to see the doors welded closed, to be in Issa Amro's house with his family, and I see it everywhere.
And have you, during your visit here, crossed any gates, like checkpoints? How was that?
Yeah, the checkpoints, obviously they're an intimidating thing when you're not
was
used
this
to it.
perception of checkpoint before you came, is it the same as you imagined before, or is it different? Because like we always have difficulties explaining what the checkpoint is. Like the Israelis always try to show it like it's like a crossing, like it's a border thing, very easy to do, to cross.
I mean, the thing is, I'm a white woman with blonde hair, and English is my first language. I get treated differently, but I see the difference. There was an experience that one person we were with had where the taxi driver had bought some food, but wasn't allowed to buy it in the area that he was from, and a young IOF soldier is speaking to him, like patronizing him, telling him not to do this again. That doesn't happen to me because this is my privilege, right? But I saw it happen and heard about it happening to others. And also, there's a lot of soldiers with guns, you know? And the thing that I think they try to say that they're protecting everybody from, I was with the people that they're trying to protect everybody from, and I didn't feel that I needed protecting from any Palestinian person that I have been with here.
And also you've mentioned you've been to Masaf al-Riyata. It's a film, there is a film, No Other Land, that won an Oscar about the... How was your experience at Masaf al-Riyata as well?
I mean, it's really interesting. You meet an Oscar-winning director. You know, we spoke with Basil. He was very kind enough to talk to us about what's happening there. It's crazy. It's so hard to describe. In my industry, somebody's Oscar is in their home, their beautiful home somewhere. It's a very different thing to win an Oscar in the West than what is. I mean, it sort of makes me feel like I'm so glad that Palestinian film in general is winning awards and all of this. But we must not forget what's actually happening here. You know, what Basil is telling us and the footage, you can see it on Instagram, of settlers waking up families in the middle of the night. He told the story of the family who lived nearby, an 86-year-old man and his wife, both woken in the middle of the night, somebody grabbing them by the hair, breaking their arms, a child being pepper sprayed. This is the reality of what is happening on the ground here. It's undeniable when you see it. So the Oscar was like, it was sort of a bizarre thing to think that's happening while we're sitting, like those two things together. And he had just lost his friend, you know, who was shot by a settler on camera. He filmed his own death, and that settler is back on the land very quickly. So it's very overwhelming to see the subjugation of Palestinians that is happening. We talk always about Gaza, as we should. What is happening in Gaza is unbearable. But the West Bank, it's very obvious to me what's happening here too. And my fear is just that it continues to get worse and worse, and we're all going to watch the same thing. Even to say that to you feels really uncomfortable, because I don't want to be hopeless, but when you see things up close here, you realize how big this thing we're fighting, is, because it's all of our responsibility. What I'm very grateful for also with being here and speaking to especially the amazing Palestinian activists that we're speaking to, is that it's been made very clear to me that this is our responsibility.
How?
Well, I think the idea that we're helping makes me very uncomfortable. We're not doing this for Palestinians. This is not. We must advocate for sure and stand in partnership and in solidarity, but this is for all of us. You know, this is letting this happen to the Palestinian people. It's the loss of our humanity too. You know what I mean? There's a lot at risk here. And also what I have learned from being here is that Palestinian people are tired. Like this is tiring.
Indeed.
And so we have to do much more. And I don't know if we can change the system that is operating here, but we can create a very big system to oppose it. And the only way we do that is if I mean, I was worried also coming here that I shouldn't come here because Palestinian people that I know, the diaspora who are not allowed to come here, I thought that it was maybe disrespectful, and I sought out permission from Palestinian people, but everyone that I've met here was very glad that we were coming. You know, we're not here on a holiday, we're not tourists, we're coming here to be educated and to educate ourselves so that when we are out in the world, we're not speaking of empty things, you know. This is very connected for me now, especially to people that I've met.
Yeah, and you're Irish,
Yeah.
and like there's the Irish history is very connected to the Palestinian history. There's so many things in parallel. Also, like, where have you connected your Irish heritage, history? Because you were also fought against colonialism. Palestinians here are fighting against. So how also did that feel on you as well?
Well, to my shame, I left school very, very young. So I know that I come from a specific history, but it is Palestine that has taught me about my own history.
Wow.
And that encourages me to understand actually why we're so linked. There's the link to the black and tans and also the fragmentation throughout our history as Irish people, our language being removed. We have very similar things in the passing on of our oral history through storytelling. And so I felt very connected here because Ireland I was speaking to somebody about it today, we fought back. And so we have a Republic of Ireland. And so I guess there is a sort of hope maybe that if we did it, because the other colonized places, a lot of them, the indigenous people there don't remain, or at least they are sent to small pockets. But we have retained our land in Ireland. And so it makes me very proud, I think, of what my ancestors did, because seeing it happening in front of me here, I realize what it must have taken, because it's relentless. What you are under is relentless here. And it's very insidious, and it is so cruel. Sorry, I have never witnessed such cruelty, because also the cruelty has to have been thought up by someone. People had to sit in rooms.
It's very systematic.
Yeah, and people had to sit in rooms and discuss how best to destroy families, how best we were told a story of how when they arrest a child in front of their parents and they take the child away, it breaks the trust between the child and the parents. And then when the child comes back from being arrested, it breaks the trust between the child, the parents, and the community. So that somebody made that up. Somebody came up with that system. That's depraved. And what I have seen here, the way that I've seen Palestinians being spoken to, also the casual guns everywhere. It's
with the Israelis.
Oh yeah, God. Like kids walking around with machine guns. That's a lot to.
Yeah, it's very intimidating.
It's very intimidating, and yet the humor I have found in Palestinians is unlike anything I've experienced before too. And I think that's something maybe the Irish and Palestinians have in common, this ability to have, we call it gallows humor, you know, you're going to the gallows and you're able to.
And a sense of humor is a way to resist and to break down this system of oppression.
Yeah, and learning about all the different ways of resistance, you know.
Yeah.
Little acts of resistance everywhere.
Indeed.
And they make me so proud. And when I walk around, there's areas I walk around in where, you know, you have Palestinian shop owners, but they're selling, you know.
That's in Jerusalem.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like in each geography in Palestine, it's a different story, different sort of fragmentation, where you have to adapt to the system and so on.
Yeah, and seeing Palestinian shop owners having selling Israeli flags, they have to, because, you know, everyone's making a living, but I would walk by and say, and we'd have a moment, or just feeling like I wanted to be here to say I see what's happening here. And you know, the crying that I've done over the last week is because it's a healthy response, I think, to what's happening to people here and the stories that we've been told. And going to the Ada refugee camp where the little boy was killed, he had a school bag on. The technology that's being used, you can't mistake. It's a child. Why did that child have to be killed? And why don't we know about it? Why is that not all over our news channels? It's not.
Yeah.
And so you meet the people affected directly by that. And
I think that's the importance of using your platform, as you've mentioned, because mainstream media obviously won't cover it. But there's alternatives now.
Yeah, we have to think like Palestinians. This is the thing. Like, I realized, if on your way home, if a checkpoint is closed and you have to know how to get to another, it's like constantly adapting. We met a brilliant team of people running an art gallery here who just have to go month to month, and if they don't get the funding here, or they have to figure out ways around it. It's like, so for us to get these stories out, and for us to be part of the movement that is going to oppose the system that is terrorizing families and people here, then we need to think like very adaptable Palestinians.
So today is your last day, and you're going back to where?
I go back to London.
London. What's your thoughts when you go back to London?
First of all, it's very hard to leave. Like, I understand now. I mean, I'm not working as a medical, but like I heard Victoria Rose, who was working a lot in Gaza, she talked about how difficult it was to leave her people. And that's what it feels like. I've created relationships and friendships here and connections here with people that I'm really sad to leave. And to go back to a world where I know I'm going into a world that is designed to distract, you know. There is a world running parallel to this where I could choose, not that I would, but people are choosing to completely be disengaged. It's hard now to see that. It will be hard, I'm sure, to see that now that I have seen what I've seen. I don't think I'll ever be the same again.
Also, like before coming to Palestine, you've been active. I would like to know how your activism, like how did your relationship with Palestine started? Like, how did you get to know about Palestine? When was it the first time that you've talked about Palestine or posted about Palestine?
Palestine has always been in the ether, and because of being Irish, I guess, and also being somebody who's relatively politically aware. But I remember I was always told it's really complicated. And because I left school very, very
young... Is it really
young,
complicated?
Absolutely not. It's really simple. It's an occupier and an occupied. It's a really simple thing to me now. But I remember I was like, when people would say it's really complicated, it was really easy for that to work on me because I wasn't...
disengage you, kind of.
Yeah, or at least think I'm not clever enough to figure that out then, because I left school at 15. So I didn't feel like I had the capacity or the education to be able to interrogate that any further. And then when I was 27, I did a film called The Shooting of Thomas Herndal, which is about a British peacekeeper who was killed here. And so we were in Jordan filming, and I remember being in a refugee camp there and being really struck by what was going on around me, and also the story of the film. And I met a woman who worked for the International Solidarity Movement, and I was so blown away by her. She spoke lots of languages. She was so engaging with all the people that were around her. But even then, I was going through my own personal awakening at the time, so I knew that something had shifted about what I wanted to know. And then I would read a little bit here and there, but it wasn't very present because I was in the distraction, there's no doubt. And also I was sorting my life out. And then when October 7th happened, I first of all did the thing, I had only just joined Instagram. I was never comfortable with Instagram because self-promotion just doesn't suit me very much. I'm not able to do all of this. It's hard for me.
Yes.
But I thought, you know, there was a part of it that where I was getting connected with people and thinking, oh, it's nice, actually. It's social. So October 7th happened, and I did the thing where I said, I'm praying for peace. And I thought, okay, that's the way I'm going to do it. And then 3 days later, I posted that I believed a genocide was occurring.
So on the 10th of October?
On the way. Yeah, maybe around
Well, that's very early.
like a week.
That's
but
impressive.
somebody had written, somebody had done a post saying a massacre is happening in Gaza. And then, so I had to ask myself, well, so something like October 7th happens, I need context. And what I'm realizing about Palestine is you never get context. These big things happen and then it becomes about that event, but there's no, like, what led to that event? That was a horrific event. Of course, civilians being killed, it's awful. But what led to this? And then I started to read about Palestinians that were killed on October 6th, the fact that 2023 was the highest level of children that had ever been killed in Palestine under the occupation. And so I thought, oh God, I need to be more informed. And so then I did the Elon Pape, amazing. And then I realized, I'm reading a lot of ex-Zionists or Jewish scholars who are really helpful, listening to Norman Finkelstein, amazing people. But then I realized I need to go to the Palestinians. Like, you realize how there's a brilliant book, Perfect Victims by Mohammed Al-Turk, who talks about all of this, how frustrating it is for a Palestinian person to be saying something over and over and over and over, but then a white person or a Western person says it or a Jewish person says it, and suddenly it's a thing. So I'm constantly learning where my own levels of, Ta-Nehisi Coates calls it the levels of deception. What level am I at?
Ta-Nehisi Coates also visited Palestine.
Yeah, because
it was like very enlightening for him.
Yeah.
And we send our greetings to both Muhammad al-Kurd and Ta-Nehisi.
Yeah. Because I went to a talk with Ta-Nehisi Coates, and he, in that talk, said, I will now never write about anywhere that I have not visited. And he talked about the levels of deception, and I thought, I wonder what level I'm on. And I realized, despite my best efforts and my best intentions, I was not down far enough. And so I just kept unpeeling. And then when the opportunity came for me to come here, and suddenly I wasn't working, everything, was clear, I had the time, it was like everything lined up. And then I came here with the most amazing group of people, and now it's like it's in my body in a different way, It's like now it's impossible to tell me to unknow what I now know. And I'm sure there's still more levels.
So you encourage artists and
absolutely, I think,
within the industry to come and visit.
Yeah, of course. And I also think, you think of someone like Nina Simone and James Baldwin, who were at the forefront in their time of speaking about what an artist's duty is. And if you are an artist, your duty is to reflect the times. And I didn't want to be just like a pontificating actress. I wanted to be able to be of use where I can be, so I can be used for something good, And if me having a platform is a public platform or whatever is helpful to something greater than myself, then that's great. Because when it's just about self-promotion and benefiting myself, it's quite empty. And so now I feel like there's a purpose to me, having an Instagram account, because it wasn't working. It doesn't work if it's just about capitalism and commercialism, and it actually gives me a lot of anxiety. But when I started using social media to connect with other people in this movement and Palestinian people particularly, suddenly it made sense. It's a network.
Did you face, how was the response to what you've been saying and posting about on Palestine? Like, what were the reactions? The industry, like the film industry, is like very complicated especially when it comes to Palestine. So like, how did that have an effect on you?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't think anybody is going to be bold enough to say. I think I've said this before. It's like the difference between being in a gang and being in a tribe, and I'm sure there will be people who don't want to work with me, and that has to be okay. I'll find the people I'm meant to work with. Like, maybe what it does is cleans everything away so that so that I get to work with people who have a purpose that is greater than just getting famous or making money. Although I do want to make money as well.
Yes,
Everybody does. I mean, I definitely want to be financially secure because
Yes.
it gives me a level of peace.
And stability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think people deserve that, to
Yes,
have,
of course.
all people deserve to have financial security. But I don't want to be in an industry that is just about getting famous. There isn't anything in that for me. It's like sugar, you know, it might feel good for a moment, but actually I end up feeling quite sick. And so this way, I feel like maybe the people who want somebody who speaks out like this, they'll find me, you know.
Yeah.
And also it has to be okay. I have to figure, like, I have all my fears just like anyone else. I want to continue working. I love getting to, especially theatre, I love being on stage. I don't want that to end. Of course I don't. But I want to live in a world where people care. You know, we went to Jaffa today. That was hard to see people on the beach when if we were on a boat further out, you can see Gaza.
Yes.
That's crazy. Like, everybody knows what's happening in Gaza. But it was like being at a resort. I don't have the ability for that kind of cognitive dissonance. I don't want to live in a world where the people closest to me could do that. That would be a huge fear for me.
And talking about the industry, do you see it changing? Like lately, we've seen so many positive, proactive move towards like the Palestinian cause within the industry.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope so. I think these things, suddenly people kind of realize, oh, maybe I'm on the wrong side, and they shift over. And I think, great. My friend always talks about calling people in, not calling people out. That however long it takes you to get here, just get here, because we need bodies. We need bodies, voices. We need people with influence. We need all of that. And so I'm not going to spend time being angry that people aren't speaking out, because all of that can be dealt with afterwards. What we're dealing with right now is really important that we deal with it right now. So come to the table now, because it is the best table to be at too. It's the table where there is real humanity. And even that word, I spoke to a brilliant Palestinian woman the other day who said, you know, I think humanity now also includes people being able to ignore the killing of children. Like, the word humanity is changing. So humanness, whatever, but something that puts the well-being of all of us. If you imagine what happened here, the fragmentation of Palestine into two places, it's happened all over the world. They're fragmenting everyone in the world so that we all believe we're alone on one singular path. But actually, if we are a community, a global community, then that becomes very, very powerful. And that's why the systems get really afraid. The empire gets very afraid when it realizes, you know, we have friends everywhere.
Indeed. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sari. It's been so great to meet you
Yes.
on your turf.
Likewise, and I hope we'll meet you soon here again.
For sure.
And also bring more people.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
rely
coming.
on you,
Yeah, I'm coming.
and it's been a pleasure.
It's
Thanks a
been
lot.
such a pleasure. Thank you.